love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just give me up. Don't be and if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math. When I hate, I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just give me up. Don't be
Hello everybody, hope you are having a wonderful Friday. I'm sorry it took so long to get started today. I was truly hoping I'll have something more interesting to show and talk about. In reality, we got a very unexciting session, at least for the time being. Howdy. Hello everybody. Christoph, Nanny, Leo, Stonk, Sky, Andrew, Philip, Cool Beans. Hello everyone. Very unexciting session. Let's go over the time frames and let's see what it is that we can see for the upcoming sessions, since this one is pretty much almost over with. I don't think we're gonna have anything too exciting. As you can see on the screen right now, we are currently retesting what is 5,668.03. And that support level was already retested, already confirmed, we acknowledged, we know it's there. In all sadness, we are now kind of moving into what you can see slippage territory on a 5 minutes and are ready to break, but still wasting more time. It looks like the narrative of the market for the latest sessions was wasting time. That's mainly what we're doing right here. In fact, if you look at the current 5 minute long-term channel, if you will, the slow one, that is basically the short one for about 30 minutes-ish. You can see it is borderline flat. We're basically moving sideways, not doing anything too exciting. We are more than ready to break down, continuing the trend as we are right now. If you're looking currently at stochastic RSI, you'll see we've been overbought for a little while, more than ready to break, coincidentally sitting at the top of the channel. Basically, does seem like all the signs are pointing for us to be continuing this channel, at least for the time being, in whatever form we'll do it. At least for the time being, it appears to be that we'll be going down in some form or fashion. Yes, it could be that we'll end up far quicker here, sort of break out of the channel to retest, just to come back and then end up moving into this wedge in one form or another. 30 minutes is bullish to some extent, but not really, since it is bullish in bearish territory, as I've explained many times before. Bullish in bearish territory means not a lot of action. It basically means, best case scenario, you are going to get a bit of this sort of corrective movement, but nothing substantial given where we're located. I would probably say retesting 5670. 5666 is not such a weird surprise number because, well, it's a psychological level. It's not all that weird that the 666s get caught up somehow. It's like the 420s and all the other fun numbers, if you will. Currently, again, on the 45 minutes, becoming bullish, but not really. Becoming bullish, but in oversold conditions, meaning it's going to be just tamed down sideways price action. Given the location where we're at, I'm not going to be all that so surprised. If you have been attentive, we've been basically moving sideways for quite a while here. This entire movement is, if you sort of look at it objectively, is within some framework. Basically, since the beginning of May, we are stuck in a very tight range. Pardon me for my inability to draw straight lines, but it's kind of like so. Really, to be super precise-ish about it, right? That's kind of like where it is located, and everything else you can see is one form or another of slippage. You, of course, can rely on these sort of extended areas of that very channel. You can see the 5611.47 or 5718.60. Those are the levels. Here is the median, sort of the center of it all, the 566803 and 565567. In simpler terms, we're basically moving here in a channel. Here is the resistance, support, sorry. Here is the resistance, and we are in a more narrower band inside of the whole thing. All right. That is kind of it. Now, it doesn't seem like we're doing anything too substantial nor interesting. It seems like we're far more ready to sort of retest that median area, basically where we are right now. In terms of momentum, as you can see, we are more than ready. Let me just, all of this crap is unnecessary. There's a lot of mess on the screen. So what we're thinking here is this was going to happen is this will end up converging, having convergence and divergence right up here at around 50, and converge, diverge again, sort of break in and out, giving us a temporary sort of a little bit of that bullish taste, if you will, on the hourly, which probably will spill over towards the end of this session. And here we're starting to talk about the more interesting stuff. We are actually becoming bearish in below the 50, in bearish conditions, if you will. And well, I believe that by next session we can start expecting seeing more of that bearish behavior, meaning bringing us lower back to retest that channel median, if you will. Don't need that, that's unnecessary, and that's unnecessary either. So we are still gonna, there is a channel there that we'll be testing. Let me see if I can make it right up here. There is sort of this center channel that's going on. I kind of had it on the screen, actually. I probably should have kept it. That would have made a lot more sense. You'll see there is this sort of center channel that we're moving around with, and probably will be testing that sort of wedge in that area where we're in before ended up breaking. But this is indication to what is up to come, and that can actually start happening earlier than later. But this appears to be that as we're moving towards the next sessions, we will see either a retest right here or more of that bearish momentum sliding towards 56. Basically, as it seems, we're not seeing anything substantial that will right away take us out of the current channel. If we're going to look at the daily is having convergence in overbought conditions, which is basically more bullish than bearish, indicating a retest of that 57.18.60, given that it's the nearest sort of stronger area to be retested, giving us the completion of that head and shoulders formation, which is sort of hidden within the framework of how the indicator works, but it does sort of print the very same behavior at the end of the day. And that's actually not just a coincidence that the very sort of shapes and forms exist in the sort of pattern-like behavior. As you can see, we've been testing the bottom of the channel on the weekly and are more than ready to break down as we are moving towards convergence. Pretty definitively we can identify that although it appears to be bullish, but in reality what it is probably moving towards convergence divergence, similarly how to what we had here on the 10th of February and around the 3rd, the 18th, sort of the February period. We've gone through something very, very similar, and here we'll see something more sort of something like it. But from here, what you need to understand, the conditions between February and now are very different. We are in a very different place in the overall cycle. As you can see, we're either not truly yet in oversold conditions, but just wanted a little bit away from stepping in. As you can see, we have our near-term range, which is sort of 5,400-ish, which sort of correlates very neatly with this median channel, but we have a lot more stronger support and resistance levels that reside at around 48, 5,000, 5,100. As we said, sort of the structure, there's a very strong level sitting right there, and so there's high probability that this level will end up getting retested. Once this level gets retested, which is sort of resides somewhere around here, we're now then ready to continue to around 5,100. Again, I maybe exaggerated a little bit, but give or take within that vicinity, the 52 area, continue to 51, 5,048 area within the following, I would say, weeks. Now, the following weeks, when we say that, there is a bit of a caveat to that. We also see, if we want to stay objective, on the daily, a bit of an issue. You see, the problem is with that head and shoulders, as we're saying, that it can be very misleading in how long it can take. It can take mere days, and it can also take weeks. One of our members, Johnny, noticed that this crossroads, okay, has not surprisingly or not so much, it cross-references very near to the Nvidia earnings. And so if we are looking for a reason, a motive to why the market may start correcting to the downside, is if Nvidia will have bad earnings post that shoulder. So that shoulder may end up being slightly longer, and it's not going to be as symmetrical as on this side, maybe differently shaped, but it's not meant to be shaped the same way. So that's not a fallacy, not a problem, not something that is pattern breaking, if you will. That is actually very normal. But again, since we are not certain yet, what we are certain of is that the beginning of that breakdown is soon to come, with the continuation of your monthly moving into oversold conditions and amplifying the downwards pressure. Okay, so that's kind of how things will play out in the following sessions. But before we get to the point where the market starts to break, it may take several weeks. So we're going to see again that dashing up and down, and maybe hints to a downwards pressure more and more as we move forward, but not really a breakdown until we get to the 30. Okay, although we see hints to that, it doesn't necessarily mean that will how it will play out. It may take a little longer. There's another very important thing I would like to point out that is very badly misleading the public, I would argue. Let me show you that. And I think this will be at the detriment of a lot of technical analysts and people who consider themselves as experts and know to identify the movements. look, there is an inverted head and shoulders that we are currently seeing happening in the price action. The thing is, a lot of people will be misled and think, well, the problem here actually starts with this. It's pretty simple, in fact, but it eludes the naked eye. As you can see, this channel, we're already starting to curve towards the end of the channel, which, as we said, sort of moves us towards that 30th of the month. But you see, a lot of people will look at this and perceive this entire structure to be the head, and so expecting a shoulder, which is incorrect. What they don't realize that it is a downwards inverted head and shoulders, and it is supposed to be shrugging to the downside or sort of pointed to the downside with a descending lower high. That's exactly what we're seeing in this very behavior. I know it's hard to identify, but most people will treat this as a shoulder and a head, which is incorrect. In fact, if you look at the indicator, you can literally identify that this is a separate individual motive movement. It has nothing to do with a singular sort of structure. It's part of its own, it has its own trend, and it plays a role within the overall sort of harmonic pattern. Otherwise, it would be engulfed, sort of eaten away, or would be smoothened into the structure, and you would not be able to identify that there was an individual impulse here. This actually goes to show that this is an individual impulse of its own. And so, as we're seeing here, although it's a larger, right, inverted head and shoulders, to those, again, sort of this how it is, what you don't realize is that we are building up here a head and shoulders, which will actually result in more of that downwards price action. Okay, again, it may appear as a singular trend, but that shoulder will play out either around here, so to speak, and when we will start breaking, we may see that completion of that process somewhere down the line, like so. Yeah, so that's very misleading. I would argue that a lot of people are being misled, thinking this is actually a separate sort of structure, or sorry, internal structure, and not separate as is, and sort of it will be resulting in an upwards trend, and so being misled, while in reality we're actually moving distinctively in a downwards trend that will result, well, as you can imagine, with a lot of pain. In fact, you can see right here, we're testing that floor, kind of how I predicted it will happen. If you look at the videos from a month ago, 2, 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter. We've been talking about how this behavior will come about, looking up to 6 months back. It's not even kidding. That is it, boys and girls. I think we ran over all the material. I hope to see you all in the community. Don't forget to join the Discord and ask about the one-on-one academy. I have one spot, by the way, which you got to know, boys and girls, towards the end of the year, the price of the academy will probably increase. Again, it's not a certain thing yet, but, take it with a grain of salt. But the price of the academy will go higher towards the end of the year. That is there is some sort of a plan of that sort. I've been giving the academy at a very, very, very lucrative low price. And of course, I try to make, sort of deals and discounts, but, boy gotta eat as well. And I really do provide high value skills and knowledge like no other academy. And those who really think they can take their skill set to the next level, definitely take the opportunity. Don't wait for next year, and definitely take it at this current price as is right now. Pretty valuable stuff right there. As you can see on the screen, it's just sort of a little summary of what that package entails. The way to sign up is pretty simple. You go to the Discord. You probably seen links to the Discord all over the place. The Discord, you also have links in the description below. Here is our awesome Discord. It has all sorts of channels. Here you have the Academy partition, of course. We have the main chat that is changing and ever developing. Of course, the YouTube alerts channel where everybody gets informed where I go live, or you have some ad-free content, or members exclusive stuff to watch. Pretty valuable channels here. You can gather and sort of look at stuff even if you missed something. Also had a tremendously good meeting with the members yesterday. It was not recorded, but many more meetings will be recorded, so definitely don't miss out on these. As you can see, this is actually a very valuable channel, testimonials channel. You can sort of read and see the experience of the students who actually gone through the academy, finished, and now have the skill set at their disposal, and basically are independent and can do all of this analysis in depth on their own and don't necessarily need to wait for me to go live. A pretty valuable skill set, I would say. That is it, boys and girls. I'll see you in the community, in the Discord, or on the next video. Have a good weekend. Bye for now.